By the end of this video, you're going to know how to use AI to manage large documents or collections of documents and to summarize them and extract the information that you're looking for. My name is Greg Martin. I'm a medical doctor. I love teaching AI skills. The more you invest in AI, the more you're going to get that time back. So let's do this. Boom shakalaka. At the end of the video, I'm going to demonstrate some of the features that I've been talking about during the video. So I'm going to bring you here and actually point you to some of my favorite language model features. So the three big moves are: number one, get content out of a document. That is to say, summarize, extract, and interrogate the document or documents. Number two, go beyond what the document says. In other words, do a critical analysis or fact check of the content. And number three, transform the document content into something else. So for example, you can get the AI to create a PowerPoint deck or spreadsheet from information in the document. So the first one is easy. You want to get content out of a document or collection of documents. The first thing is extract. The key here is to be specific. So say what information you want to get out and who's it for. So if you give a very specific prompt, you'll get a very specific answer. You might want to say, go through these minutes, extract out any task of minute meetings that have been allocated to me in the last 6 months, and it'll do that for you. Next, language models are very good at summarizing. So you may have a large document or a collection of documents, and you might just want to say, please summarize this into bullet points. I want it to be half a page and make it in non-technical language, for example. It'll do that for you. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, boom shakalaka. And finally, for this section, you can interrogate a document. In other words, you upload a document into a prompt or into a project, and you say, what does this document say about X or say about Y? And it will answer questions about that document. In other words, it'll provide you information that is specifically contained within that particular document or collection of documents. Next, to go beyond the simple factual information in the document, if you want to go beyond that, there's a few things you can do. You can ask it to fact check a document. This might be something you've written or a document that you've been asked to critique. You can ask it simply to fact check it and it'll just do its best. A better way to do that is to upload source documents against which it should do the fact checking. If you do that, you'll find the answers are fantastic. If you can go beyond just sort of saying fact check, but you can sort of say, can you suggest what the wording should be? You can ask it to isolate specific text and tell you where the text is, where things are wrong. You can ask it to create a report for you that fact checks the document. You can ask it to write a report for you that identifies any grammatical or spelling errors, for example. So you can ask it to do anything, really. You can also ask it to do an analysis. So you can say, what are the weaknesses in the arguments inside this document? Or what are the hidden assumptions that are being made by the author of this document? And it will provide fantastic insights. And it's a good idea to do that even to documents that you've written. And finally, you can transform the content of a document into something else. So there might be a big long document inside of which there are sort of tables and data. You can say, extract that data out and create a spreadsheet or a graph or something with it. You can say, I would like a PowerPoint presentation with 4 slides, using content from this document. It will do that for you. Now, here's a quick caveat. If you are wanting it to extract data from tables inside a document and you want to do something with that, specify in the prompt that you would like it to use code. You might even just specify Python code, but you don't have to do the task. It will run that code in the background. It's not going to provide you with the code. You don't have to take that code, cut and paste it and use it. No, it will run the code in the background, but it does mean that it'll create a much more accurate answer. LLMs do tend to guess if they're not sure and give you, what it thinks is the best fit. And when it does that, it can hallucinate and make mistakes. If you ask it to do it with code, the answer will be 100% correct most of the time. Okay, that's a little bit of a contradiction, but you know what I'm saying. It will be much, much more accurate, and that's a big clue from me. So we've learned the theory. Let me show you 1 or 2 practical examples so you can see how this works. I've uploaded a pretty big document here that's got all sorts of technical information about bacterial meningitis, and I've put in a prompt that says, provide me with a short bullet point summary of this document. Focus on actions that public health doctors need to take in the event of an incidence of bacterial meningitis. Only use information provided in the attached document. Don't guess. If you're unsure about anything, please say so. Okay, so that's a reasonable prompt. Ordinarily, I'd actually write something a bit longer, but for the sake of this demonstration, let's just send that in. And boom shakalaka, we've got a nice little summary of the document. And I'm not going to read all of this to you because it's just not going to be very interesting, but you can see that it's done what it's been asked to do. That was in ChatGPT. Now in Claude, I'm going to ask it to do something a little bit different. Here, I've uploaded the same document, but I've uploaded a second document that I want to be fact-checked against the first one. Right, so here's my prompt. Use the HPSC document as a source of truth and fact-check the risk assessment document with regard to bacterial meningitis. If there are errors, please create a table that provides the text that is considered incorrect in the first column. In the second column, provide the text that is in the source document, and in the third column, provide suggested text for the risk assessment document. Okay, so let's see what it does with that. Right, and boom shakalaka, it's done what we've asked. So it has looked at the two documents and it's created the table as I've asked it to, and provided a bit of extra information, said where there's a bit of uncertainty, and then given me some prompt suggestions as to how to ask this better in the future. So you can see how, and you can ask it to output that as a Word document, a PDF, Excel spreadsheet, anything you want, and it will do that. And in this case, I just used 2 documents, but you could use a large number of documents. And this is where the beauty of language models works, is it can manage volume in a way that as a person would be extremely, extremely difficult. So get used to working this way. It's a very clever way to work. It will enhance your productivity, especially when dealing with large documents that are otherwise difficult to read. I hope you found that useful. The next video in this series is going to be about how to use AI safely. Right, this is maybe the most important video in the series, so I really want you to watch this one. I think you're going to find it very useful. So click on the link that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, you can subscribe to this channel if you haven't before. Hit the bell notification if you want notification of future videos. Write a comment below with questions and comments. I'll try and get back to those. Otherwise, don't ever change. Don't do drugs. Always do your best. Boom shakalaka.